In a country where billionaires are often loud, photographed, and headline-hungry, the real power players stay silent and female. While tycoons pose beside skyscrapers and make speeches about progress, these women build that progress, quietly, precisely, and often without recognition. They don't flood the news cycle. They own it. They don't chase power. They engineer it through medicine, broadband, real estate, and even the electricity that lights the nation. These are the women behind the empire, the unsung architects of the Philippine economy. And tonight, we pull back the curtain on the billionaires you never see coming. Let's kick off with a dynasty so deeply rooted in Filipino life, you've probably supported them without realizing it. Every time you've grabbed a paracetamol, cured a cough, or stocked up on vitamins, chances are a few pesos went straight to the Campos family. Their story began in 1945 when Jose Yao Campos co-founded United Laboratories, better known today as Unilab, with one simple dream: medicine should never be a luxury. From a single post-war pharmacy in Manila, he built a pharmaceutical empire that now controls a quarter of the entire Philippine drug market. At the helm today is Josephine Campos, leading the next generation with a steady hand. Under her leadership, Unilab has become synonymous with trust, a quiet but constant presence in the country's health landscape. But the Campos legacy doesn't stop at medicine. Through Del Monte Pacific, they've built a bridge between nutrition and wellness, turning the family business into a lifestyle empire. Their philosophy? Bayanihan capitalism, proving that doing good can still mean doing well. During the pandemic, while other tycoons held press conferences, the Campos clan worked quietly, donating vaccines, test kits, and relief supplies nationwide. No headlines, no bragging rights, just silent, multi-billion peso impact, hiding behind pharmacy counters and grocery aisles. From quiet strength, we move to quiet power, because our next billionaire doesn't just shape health. She fuels the industries that keep the country running. If you've ever cracked open a cold San Miguel beer or driven down one of its tollways, you've crossed paths, indirectly, with Solidad Kowano, one of the Philippines' most discreet yet influential billionaires. Her late husband, Eduardo Danding Kowano Jr., was a legend, businessman, politician, power broker, and myth maker. His legacy includes the rise of Miguel Corporation, SMC, transforming it from a brewery into an empire that touches nearly every Filipino life: food, fuel, power, and infrastructure. When Danding passed in 2020, Soledad quietly stepped into his shoes, not with fanfare, but with focus. She became the steady hand behind a 1.5 trillion peso empire that literally keeps the nation's lights on. Unlike her husband's bold, public persona, Soledad stays out of the spotlight. No interviews, no photo ops, just influence. Quiet, unshakable, and absolute. Under her watch, San Miguel continues to grow, now building the new Manila International Airport, a $15 billion mega project set to redefine Philippine infrastructure. Neneko Cochuanco doesn't need to shout. Her empire speaks louder than any press release ever could. And speaking of empires that shape everyday life, our next powerhouse doesn't just fuel the nation, she feeds it. Let's add some flavor to this list, literally, because the next woman built a billion-dollar fortune, not from steel or oil, but from noodles. Betty Yang, co-founder and president of Monde Nissin Corporation, turned pantry staples into pop culture icons. Back in 1989, she and her husband, Quirino Kua, launched a humble instant noodle brand called Lucky Me, and the rest is delicious history. What started as comfort food became a Filipino household essential, dominate over 70% of the instant noodle market. Today, Monde Nissin's lineup, from SkyFlakes and Fita to Mamacitas, forms the holy trinity of Filipino snack time. But Betty's ambition didn't stop there. In 2015, she made one of the boldest moves in Philippine business, acquiring the UK-based plant protein giant Corn Foods for a jaw-dropping £550 million. That deal catapulted Monde Nissin from local favorite to global player, putting it in the same league as Nestlé and Unilever. And yet, for all her success, Betty remains an enigma. No major interviews, no PR blitz, just quiet domination. Her brands are woven so tightly into Filipino life, they're practically folklore. Ask any student who survived finals week on pancit canton and caffeine, they'll tell you Betty Yang didn't just sell food, she sold comfort. From the woman who shaped the nation's appetite, we move to one who shaped its cities. If you've ever lived, worked, or relaxed in a modern Filipino suburb, chances are Josephine Gotianun-Yap had a hand in designing it. She's the low-profile but razor-sharp leader of Filinvest Development Corporation, one of the most resilient conglomerates in the country. Her story starts with her parents, Andrew and Mercedes Gotianun, who began in 1955 with a small car financing business, long before flipping was a trend. That seed grew into a 700 billion peso powerhouse spanning real estate, banking, utilities, and hospitality. Her crowning achievement, Filinvest City in Alabang, a 244-hectare urban masterpiece that transformed farmland into one of Metro Manila's first sustainable, world-class business districts. Think the Philippines' answer to Singapore: green, smart, and future-ready. Through EastWest Bank, the family also built one of the country's top 10 banks, serving everyone from local savers to corporate giants. But what sets Josephine apart isn't just scale, it's discipline. The Gotianuns are famously cautious. Low debt, high liquidity, and a near-paranoid focus on resilience. Those lessons, born from the crises of the 1980s, paid off. When the pandemic hit and others froze, Filinvest expanded. While others panicked, Josephine prepared. She's proof that you can command an empire not with noise, but with quiet precision. And while she builds the cities we live in, the next woman built the invisible network connecting them all, from your phone to your fridge. In a country where slow internet was practically a running joke, one woman decided enough was enough, and then built the broadband empire that changed everything. Meet Maria Grace Yui, the quiet force behind Converge ICT Solutions. Alongside her husband, Dennis Anthony Yui, she co-founded the company back in 2007, long before fiber became a household word. Their origin story sounds straight out of a Silicon Valley playbook. Two dreamers running a small cable TV business in Pampanga, selling Betamax tapes on the side, when they spotted an opportunity no one else was seeing. Everyone wanted faster internet. The big telcos weren't delivering, so the US decided to do it themselves. Fast forward to today, Converge has become one of the Philippines' top broadband providers, with over 800,000 kilometers of fiber, connecting more than 17 million homes across the country. Their 2020 IPO, it pulled in $500 million, the largest tech IPO in Philippine history, instantly cementing the US as one of the country's most powerful business duos. As President and Chief Resources Officer, Maria Grace Yui is the strategist and perfectionist behind the curtain, meticulous, numbers-obsessed, and famously demanding. She runs Converge like a precision machine, focused on speed, reliability, and scale. And here's what makes their story stand out. The Yuis are 100% self-made. No inheritance, no old money backing, just sheer hustle, sharp instincts, and countless sleepless nights turning cables into connections. In less than 2 decades, Converge has forced industry giants like PLDT and Globe to evolve or risk fading into irrelevance. Analysts even compare their rise to Netflix in its early years: lean, fast, and unstoppable. From one woman who connected an entire nation, we now turn to another who healed it. A legend whose name lives on in every pharmacy aisle across the Philippines. Every Filipino has stepped inside a Mercury Drug store, whether for medicine, baby formula, or a last-minute vitamin run. But behind that iconic red and white sign stood one remarkable woman, Vivian Que-Azcona, the quiet powerhouse who kept a nation healthy. Her father, Mariano Que, founded Mercury Drug in 1945 with nothing but a pushcart full of medicine in post-war Manila. Vivian joined the business in 1977, starting from the very bottom, learning accounting, logistics, and store operations, before rising to become president. By the time she took the reins, Mercury Drug had already become the country's most trusted pharmacy chain, with over 1,200 branches nationwide. But under Vivian's leadership, it became something more, a lifeline. She reimagined how healthcare reached people. She pioneered 24-hour pharmacy service. She launched the Suki loyalty program, turning customers into lifelong patrons. And she created Gamut Padala, a medicine delivery system that let families send care across the islands. In short, she made healthcare accessible, personal, and human. For decades, Mercury Drug has topped national trust surveys, even outranking government institutions. That kind of loyalty can't be bought, it's earned, one prescription and one kind gesture at a time. When Vivian Que-Azcona passed away in 2025, tributes poured in from across the country, not from billionaires, but from ordinary Filipinos who grew up depending on her pharmacies. She wasn't just a CEO, she was the woman who made sure no one had to walk too far for medicine. Today, Mercury Drug remains family-owned, debt-free, and proudly Filipino, a living monument to her father's vision and Vivian's humanity-driven leadership. And from the woman who healed the body, we now meet the one who nourished the soul, turning grocery aisles into empires. If you've ever walked into a Puregold store, grabbed a basket, and thought, wow, they've got everything, you've just stepped into Susan Ko's world. In 1998, right in the middle of the Asian financial crisis, Susan and her husband, Lucio Ko, made a bold move. While others were cutting back, they built their first hypermarket in Quezon City. Their gamble, that the Filipino middle class wasn't going anywhere, and groceries would always be recession-proof. They were absolutely right. From that single store, Puregold has exploded into a retail empire of over 640 stores nationwide, now the second largest grocery chain in the Philippines. Their secret? Empathy. Puregold wasn't built for luxury shoppers. It was built for everyday Filipinos. Through the Tindahan ni Aling Puring program, Susan transformed thousands of mom-and-pop stores into wholesale partners. Instead of competing with small businesses, she empowered them, turning Puregold into the beating heart of the country's grassroots economy. Behind the shelves, the Ko family built a diversified empire through Costco Capital, controlling liquor distribution, real estate, consumer goods, and even Liquigas, one of the Philippines' biggest LPG suppliers. From food to fuel, their businesses power daily life across the nation. And yet, despite their billions, Susan and Lucio Ko remain deeply private. You won't find them on red carpets or magazine covers. You're more likely to see them walking a supermarket aisle, checking prices themselves. Because Susan built her success on a simple philosophy: serve the people who keep the country running. From a family whose fortune was built by serving the masses, we now move to the next powerhouse. A woman who didn't just build wealth, she literally built the nation. One bridge, one power plant, and one skyscraper at a time. In a nation dazzled by politics and celebrity, it's easy to forget who truly keeps the wheels turning. While some chase fame, these women chased purpose and built empires along the way. They turned pharmacies into lifelines, groceries into opportunities, and cables into connections. They proved that influence doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers and still moves nations. So the next time you cross a bridge, open a laptop, or buy a loaf of bread, remember, the real titans of the Philippine economy might not be the ones on magazine covers, but the women who built the country quietly, piece by piece.